Got 20 minutes after 8 o'clock. We are taking care of business with the Oshkosh Chamber of Commerce this morning. We've done the show for a number of years. You know the players, including Rob Clayman, our co-host. John Wold is here, along with Mike Dempsey from Bank First. They are our sponsors. And we've got Jason Lasky joining us this morning as well. From Sadoff, we had a lot of things to talk about. Rob, let me bring you in first of all. I got to pull up my outline here, but Rob told me over the weekend we're now taping this for playback later on the website. So he warned me that I should be on my best behavior from here on out.
Be nice, Bob. Be
Be
nice.
nice. Stop picking my nose. My camera.
Correct.
We've got a number of things to talk about. You want to talk about our guest first of all, Jason?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Bob. We have Jason Lasky with us this morning from Sadoff E-Recycling and Data Destruction. Jason is a partner there with that company. He's also with Sadoff Industries, which he's been there for almost 20 years at Sadoff Industries. Sadoff E-Recycling and Data Destruction, we really got to know them a little better through Amplify. They've just recently joined as a gold sponsor of Amplify, along with our sponsor, Bank First. It's really a security and sustainability organization, been around since 2016. They presented at one of our Amplify events last year, and it was very interesting. We thought it'd be real timely to have Jason on to talk about what e-recycling and data destruction is all about, and Sadoff, and kind of where we're headed with that. So that we're glad to have Jason this morning.
Jason, you are located here in Oshkosh on Main Street, right? And then you have a Fond du Lac location as well?
That's right. We're located on 10th Avenue here in Oshkosh, and we're actually headquartered down in Fond du Lac. The company started here in Oshkosh.
It's been a long time, hasn't it? It's been a long time business.
Yeah, we've been in business for over just about over 75 years. So it's a family business. We're third generation. My grandfather started it, and we're carrying it forward.
There's money in recycling, isn't there? At least you're hoping there's money in recycling. There has been in the past, but tell us a little about what you do there as far as the recycling and data destruction business.
Absolutely. In about 2016, we transitioned our company here in Oshkosh from scrap metal recycling to the recycling for electronics and offering secure data destruction services as well. We saw that there was a need for companies like us to exist with the proliferation of technology and the use in businesses and personal use throughout the country and throughout our area. And so we knew that we could provide solutions to people and businesses in the community to ensure that they could meet their security requirements, because there's a lot of data stored on our electronic devices today.
Yeah, it's amazing that you really don't know what to do with that old tower if you have a desktop, or for that matter, an old laptop. And there's a lot of secure information there that you don't want to spread around. If this falls into the garbage can, someone's going to pick it out and more than likely fire it up and be able to get some personal information quite easily, right?
You're absolutely right, Bob. There's been a number of instances that have led to severe data breaches by the mishandling of end-of-life electronics. And so one of the benefits that we provide is a solution to ensure that those things stay private and that they don't get out there.
Well, what do you do with let's say I bring in a tower. I have an old tower from a desktop, or for that matter, I have a laptop that I no longer use. And what do you do with it? When you get it down there at Sadoff's, do you deconstruct it? Is there a market? How do you take something like that I consider trash and help me out, not only securing my information, but also you need to make a little money on the side with it, right?
Absolutely, Bob. You know, what we consider this to be is a little bit of urban mining. So we take stuff that's in commerce. You know, the electronics have been used or have reached their end of life, and those things will come to us. People will bring them in. We will actually pay for, like a tower or a laptop. We'll pay a nominal amount of money for those units. We take them through our process. They come in, and we ensure that they're all erased. All the hard drives are erased or destroyed. It's up to the customer per their requirements what they'd prefer, and then they're taken back into our teardown area. And what we're really looking for is the pieces that are inside. So there's processors and memory and a number of other items that are contained inside that go all to different areas in the country for proper recycling.
Is there a market to maybe, let's say I bring in something that's still viable, still could be used. I want to donate it. I want to move it on to like the Boys and Girls Club or maybe somewhere else. Is it viable for me to come down, say, erase everything on here, and then I will present it on to a charity of my choosing? Or maybe you have some program like that already in place, Jason.
We don't have a program like that in place. We will offer services like that. We're happy to help people manage their privacy and their data. And so we do have fees that we have associated with different services, whether you want your data just erased from your computer or whether you want the actual hard drive destroyed. We can offer varied services to ensure that your preferred level of protection is met.
I would think that we're racking up a ton of devices. It seems like everybody has a ton of devices. I don't know what the average is in the American household, but I'm going to think there's probably 8, 9, 10 different devices that are there. When you look at Kindles and cell phones and old desktops and laptops and this, that, and the other thing, there's a lot of things that we have currently in our home that all contain sensitive information.
That's right. You know, the Internet of Things is real, and there's a lot of devices that we don't even consider that may have some sort of data on them, and it's just part of the world we live in today. That all the things that are helping to make our lives more convenient are also collecting a little bit of information from us as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are under the idea that, well, who would be interested in what I got? You'd be surprised. You would be surprised. A lot of people would be very interested in things like your bank account information, your social security number, other personal items that you may have stored somewhere on your computer. And maybe if they get your password from this one and you continue to use the same password for 10 more years, well, they have access to whatever you have online because they have your old password.
That's right. And it's not just our personal things we have on our devices, our family history is on there to a certain extent and some other things. And so other people's information can be at risk as well. And so being responsible to manage that, I think is very important as well.
Are people,
it's interesting.
I'm sorry, Rob. Are people really conscious about this? You would think you'd have a lineup going out the door, given the fact I want to get rid of these things. I want to protect myself. Are people really fathoming all this? Do they really have an idea what's out there and what's going on?
That's a great question, Bob. I don't think so. I think that there's an opportunity to help educate folks a little bit more as to the risks that there are in really just collecting some of these devices. I think, a lot of people in their homes have just closets where they'll kind of do the countertop shuffle and just kind of move it until they don't, goes into a closet so they don't have to see it. Well, that doesn't make it any more secure. And we want to share with folks that that it's important to really be diligent in managing things that have your personal data on them. And it's not just also, we want to just say that as a certified recycler, we don't necessarily promote just ourselves. We want people to find resources that they can use to help them and manage this issue in their lives. And so state app's not always going to be a fit for everybody, whether it's by location or our pricing or something else. But what we want to share is we want people to find certified recyclers that do this. And there are certifications. We're R2 certified, which means that we're third-party audited for our processes to ensure that we can help protect our customers. By using companies that are not, people are still at risk. And so we want to share that information.
This would be a great scam. I'll just set up that I'm recycling laptops, desktops, cell phones, and I'm going to glean all the information I can off them, use it to my best ability. And you think I'm a nice guy, but I'm not a nice guy. I mean, if you're not certified, if they don't have certification, you want to stay away from those folks, I guess.
That's right. And there's, like with TV recycling, there's also some things that are contained in TVs that can be negative impacts on the environment. And so we want to make sure that those things are handled in a very responsible way. And the DNR, we work hand in hand with the DNR to ensure that we're helping to protect the environment, because it's very easy to take the other line and to cross over to hurt the environment. And so we've got, our processes and procedures are all set to ensure that we're on the right side of ensuring that we're being a benefit to the environment. Just so you're aware, the state of Wisconsin has a law where electronics aren't allowed to be landfilled. And so some people don't know that as well. And so a part of the service that we provide is the resources and outlet for people to come and deliver their electronics to us.
Remember a few years ago, somebody thought they were doing a nice thing, dropped off a number of TVs over here at Habitat for Humanity Restore, and they were all tube old TVs, which became a big headache for them because they had to pay to have them recycled as a result. And I understand that you just want to get rid of something, but you have to be conscious of what it will do to the environment and what may happen as a result of dropping that off, or for that matter, just going out in the country and doing a little bit of a dump as you drive down the road. And I know that happens as well. People just get frustrated and they throw things away in a ditch or out in the field somewhere.
It sure does. That particular instance that you spoke about with St. Vincent de Paul, where they were dumped a number of EVs on their property from a disposal standpoint, cost them a lot of money. And so as a company, we made a decision that it shouldn't cost them anything, and people need to learn through this. And so we decided to ensure that we made a donation to cover all of their expense for the recycling of those televisions as well.
We got to take a quick break. Rob, I'll let you get the question in to start the next segment if you don't mind. But I want to talk with Joan and Mike because they're here with Bank First. And it's that time of year again. We're nearly at March. I would think that a lot of people are starting to think about buying a home. And that means mortgages. That means Bank First here in Oshkosh because you do it all, right?
We do it all. The housing market is tight, so you got to come in and get pre-approved so that you can put an offer in. And I would suggest people do that before so that they know what they can afford and that they're ready to roll with their financing when they find something.
How tight is it right now? I see the inventory is way, way down. But is it a case where we're seeing houses sell in a single day here in the area?
I don't know if it's a single day, but it's pretty fast. And there's multiple offers on houses. So you're competing.
You're also seeing, I'm sorry.
You're also seeing houses sell that aren't even on the market.
People are going to the front door, knocking on the door.
Yeah, they'll send letters or postcards, show their family and say, I'm interested in your house. I mean, that's definitely going on right now.
Really?
Yeah.
251. Okay, I'm not going to give out my address, but highest bidder. I was in North Carolina last week, and it is a seller's market there. And you would think the audacity of these people. They sent out we toured the home just because my daughter wanted to go look at it as a possible step up from her current home. And the realtor told me on the way out, 8:00 tonight, deadline, best offer on the table, top offer wins. I said, I'm not even interested. She looked at me like, oh, you're not buying? I said, no, we're just looking, frankly. Well, that's how it is here. Top offer on the table, 8:00 tonight, have a sealed bid. So when you come back, you need to have certification. You need to know what you're approved for because you don't want to get yourself in a bind and be not only embarrassed, be on the hook for a lot more than you can actually spend. Bank First, new location, working out for us over there?
It is working out. Our lobbies are closed right now, but we are examining the protocols right now and looking at reopening soon.
I'll talk to you about PPP a little later, okay? Because I know there's some things happening with PPP.
Sure.
Joan and Mike from Bank First, they're our sponsors taking care of business. We're going to break away for a few minutes. We'll come back after we check in with Kim Commando here in just a few minutes, and we'll get more information about Sadoff, what's happening with the Chamber of Commerce. We'll talk about some building projects that are currently underway. They're looking like they're getting close to getting done. We are back again, News Talk Radio 1490 WOSH. We are taking care of business, and of course, the show is sponsored by Bank First, and you'll find them over there. Across from us, near 21 and 41. Drive-through is open. Appointments available. You can come inside, but you have to get Joan's blessing and Mike's too before you come through the door. Rob Clayman is along with us for the Chamber of Commerce. Our guest is Jason Lasky. We're talking about recycling and the business they do with that. Rob, you had some questions for Jason as well?
Well, yeah, I was just going to mention that when Yannick Jachinsky from their office presented at Amplify, they actually brought a hard drive shredder to the event and showed us how that actually happens. I mean, it's an interesting process. But one thing that's interesting is people were asking, well, how do I know for sure if you did do this? How do I, and so there's actually a certificate that you provide authenticity. Is that right, Jason? That you can be assured that this has been destroyed.
That's right. We provide a certificate of recycling that is a document that gives you the confidence that it's really backed by insurance. So we are insured for liability purposes, where basically if you give us your hard drive, we own the liability from that data. And so if there's a breach that would happen, that's on us, not you. And right now, minimum data breach is about $3 million that it costs to resolve that. Very, very expensive. And so that's something that we encourage companies not to play around with. And we ourselves don't play around with the type of liability. So we ensure that we meet all of our requirements for data destruction.
I was going to ask you about the old business, the old scrap metal business. That's still going strong, isn't it, after all these years? My old Pontiac had to go somewhere.
Absolutely, Bob. Scrap metal recycling is actually back into fashion, if you will, because with the economy being kind of heated up right now, scrap is in high demand, very high demand.
And what do they use the scrap that you collect here? Do you separate into different type of metals? It goes different places. What exactly? Let's say I have a jalopy and I drop it off there. What happens with it? Where does it go? What does it become?
Good question. So we'll take an entire vehicle, and we have a machine that helps us really kind of break that apart. It's called an automobile shredder, and it is what it sounds like. It's a very, very large multi-story machine that we put a car on a conveyor, and it goes up a ramp of the conveyor and then falls into a pit. And there's a rotor that's really tearing the thing apart. And so it separates, it kind of breaks it down into fist-sized pieces, that jalopy, and then it goes through different processes off that machine. And metal separators recover copper, they recover stainless steel, different types of metals come off of it, and then a waste product goes one direction as well. And so that car gets separated into all kinds of different commodities based on what's contained in it.
What about aluminum? I haven't saved aluminum cans in a number of years. Is the city getting rich off of my soda pop cans that I'm putting into recycling? Is that still a viable market?
It's a viable market. I'm not sure anybody's getting rich off of it. Hey, help pay for your next six-pack.
That would be okay.
That's right.
Well, we see great fluctuation in all these metals, though. Over the years, well, yeah, silver's been up here, silver's been down here. Gold right now has a nice rise to it. So the metals, as we call them, they all sometimes have a little bit of a peak and a little bit of a valley, but you know they return something on turning them in.
Absolutely. Copper is just at a 9-year high right now, and so we buy copper by the pound. When you say the metals, it's the stuff that doesn't stick to a magnet, and so we're basically buying that stuff by the pound. The stuff that does stick to a magnet, we're buying that stuff by the ton. So 2,000 pounds make a ton, and so for every 2,000 pounds, we pay a certain price. But every pound of copper and every pound of stainless steel and every pound of brass, we pay for each pound.
And given the mood of the country to do more recycling, I'm sure you're seeing more of that than in the past, right? To have more people want to make sure that they do it not only responsibly, but they do it in a way that helps the environment.
Well, we're seeing a resurgence. You know, back with World War II, I think there was a big high of people using scrap for economic reasons. And then there was kind of a lull. Now it's kind of coming back because people see the value of what's contained in the materials.
All right. Rob, you have anything more for Jason as we continue on here?
Yeah, it was just, we toured the facility a couple months ago with Jason. It's a really interesting tour. And, folks are asking, well, where is this? I mean, it's really easy to you drive up to the facility, get out. I mean, they'll help you right away with whatever you might have, TV, laptop, computers. Jason, maybe you could talk about your locations and kind of where you're located here in town, which probably a lot of folks know already. And then there's other locations around the state and the country for that matter.
Absolutely. We've got 9 locations. We started here in Oshkosh, Wisconsin in 1947. And our location here is now dedicated to electronics recycling. We do accept aluminum cans in our Oshkosh facility as well as a service because we donate the proceeds to the Humane Society. So we will not pay for aluminum cans in Oshkosh, but we accept them as a donation. And then all the proceeds we collect go to the Oshkosh Humane Society as a donation. And so we're located on 36 East 10th Avenue here in Oshkosh. It's in South Main. And you simply drive up to our building. You can stop in and just let our folks know that you're there, and then we can send some folks to help you out. We're happy to provide help with TVs and things like that to get them into our building. And then we put them on our scale, we weigh them, and then we either pay or charge by the pound.
There we go.
Unload it out of Bob's trunk. You would even unload the computer out of Bob's trunk. Is that right?
I got an oldie down there. I got a real old one in the basement that we no longer use, and it's collecting dust. But eventually, it'll be seeing you. It'll be eventually. But I understand what you said about the cupboard. If you don't see it, you don't remember it. I saw it the other day, and I said, "Oh, I should get that out of here." And my buddy used to destroy them as well. He'd take them out to the shooting range, and he would shoot them up. So I would rather have it shredded than shot up, I think. We had to talk a little.
Jason, do you take appointments, or how would somebody get a hold of your operation to understand what they can and can't do, and when they shouldn't do it or do it?
Or, they can call us any day. 232-7373 is our phone number. That's 920-232-7373. That's just a general number, and we're happy to provide any information. We're open Monday through Friday from, I believe it's 7 a.m. until 4:30 in the afternoon. And so folks can come and drop things off. From a business perspective, if they give us a call or reach out to us via our website, then we'll reach back out to them and schedule an appointment or a time to visit more, to understand their needs and develop a really customized solution from a business perspective.
Yeah, I was going to say, what percentage is businesses versus residential average folks for your business there at data destruction as well as the e-recycling?
Yeah, but we're probably 80% business to business and then 20%, really a service to the community.
All right. We have to talk a little PPP because it's back again, and Joan and Mike are busy with files, no doubt, gathering up PPP, paycheck protection money, and some good news from the folks there in Madison. They're not going to tax anybody on their PPP, so that's fantastic. But are you still busy circulating and getting these things done for businesses around the community?
Yeah, we are. We're very busy with round 2, but people are coming back to do round 1 that maybe didn't do it in the beginning. They weren't sure about it, but now need it. So if you haven't done one, you're still eligible to do a round 1. But also, many people are coming back in with the round 2. You do need to show that your revenues are down 25% in any quarter or for the year. Just proof of that year over year, 2020 to 2019.
All right. So, and that, of course, call bank first. Maybe your local lender doesn't do that, but you folks have done this for a lot of people. You stepped in and taken over this particular portion of what they need to have done.
Yep, exactly. We have a great system that we use, and we work really close with SBA.
Good. Mike, anything you'd like to add about what's going on at the bank?
No, it's just that it's all hands on decks for the PPP situation, and we've been fully employed throughout the pandemic and putting those people to work, working for the small business owners and families.
Sounds good to me. I want to get back to a couple building projects because we're getting closer to them, maybe opening up. We can start with the Brio downtown. I see that they are making strides there. This would be the home of the new food co-op in downtown Oshkosh. And they do have some advertisements as far as, trying to fill up some of those apartments they have on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th floors.
Right, Bob, that's the Brio building down here at 155 Jackson Street. There's 60 apartment units that are located in that building. And, you can see it's really making good progress. It's a 5-story, 57,000 square foot building. And you're right, the food co-op will be located on the 1st floor. We should start to see things being leased up there in the summer. That's one of many housing projects that are going on right now. There's the Miles Kimball redevelopment down on South Main, kind of down where Sadoff is located. You're going to be seeing 28 new high-end apartments being constructed in that building. YBR Properties LLC is doing that. That's down on South Main and 9th Avenue, the 4-story former Miles Kimball building. Construction, we'll see that in 21. The WIT, folks have been asking, what's going on off of Witzel, kind of over by Mercy?
It is huge.
Yes. And we should see construction beginning on that late in 21. That's Moorhead Bar Properties LLC. They're building 144 high-end units, 2-bedroom, technology-friendly units. We'll see private. There's going to be a private 4-lane bowling alley as one of the amenities there, fitness center, a billiard rooms. So that should be a real nice development taking place. And, it's going to take time. They said, don't expect 144 units to be constructed immediately. They're going to be building them in 12-unit increments.
But the other one behind Fleet Farm is really coming up. And this is senior living property that has kind of quietly gone up here over the last few months. I would think they're getting closer and closer to starting leasing some of those here in the near future.
Correct, they are. And that's Aspire Senior Living, and that is behind Fleet Farm. And that's a combination of multiple types of senior living, from assisted living to nursing care to, and they're going to be expanding there as well. There'll be, individual living options as well for seniors on that campus. So that'll be coming online this summer as well. You've got the Smith School Lofts, which is being put together by North Point Development and Wiesenberg Architects, 31 market rate apartments in the former Smith School, which is a historic rehab project. And then don't forget, back down here, Maxon Corners. So the Merge Urban Development folks who are doing the Brio building have plans for another development on the water where they would be constructing 74 more units, kind of at the corner of Jackson and Marion Road down here by the Chamber of Commerce building.
Well, what is going on? We got all these housing projects, not single family housing projects, but particularly senior living things. Well, what's happening with the market right now that we're seeing such a Evergreen has announced a $10 million project, an
Right.
expansion for them on top of everything. So are we all
Right.
just getting older and need a place to stay? What exactly is bringing this about?
Well, I think you're hitting it the nail on the head. The demographics are changing, and there is that, baby boomers are reaching retirement age, and so we're seeing kind of that explosion in that market. But also, there's residential apartment living options kind of across the gamut from that 25-year-old to 45-year-old folks that want to live, kind of downtown Central City apartment type living. And then folks like, like ourselves that are reaching retirement, getting into that 55 to 65-year-old and maybe want a condo or want to downsize a little bit. So we're seeing some of that as well.
Best offer on the table by 8 o'clock tonight. We're all set.
There you go.
That's what type of buyers we need right there. Best offer on the table by 8 o'clock tonight. We usually take a look at the unemployment numbers as well. And do you have anything from the state in regards to that?
Yes, we do. First, I want to mention, we had Brian Blue from ITR Economics just a couple of weeks ago, and he did talk about the employment situation. I think the big summary on that is that he's looking for a solid year of economic expansion in 2021. He kind of pointed out there were 3 worrisome headlines that folks were really concerned about. That home sales went down 2.48% in November, but what he told us was that October was a 14-year high. So he said, it was all relative. We're still at our highest level in home sales in 10 years. The other one folks were worried about was, wow, retail sales went down 1% in December. But if you take a look at what happened, they went up 5.3% in January. They were predicted to go up 1.2%. So that was just remarkable growth in retail sales. And they're expecting that to continue moving forward into 21 as well on retail sales. So that's good news. December saw consumer spending reach record highs on a monthly basis on a 3-month moving average. This is the steepest rise since 1999. So that's good news. Locally, Bob, our unemployment rate was 4.4% in December, up a little bit from 3.7 in November, but that's typical in December. That's seasonal. I think our unemployment in December across the country has raised 7 of the last 10 years, has gone up. So, and really, we have more people working year over year in Oshkosh right now. 33,335 city residents working this year over last year at 33,322. So
overall employment is up, even though the employment number is down.
Correct. That is correct. And our unemployment rate back in April was 14.3%.
Mm-hmm.
We've come a long way.
We'll wrap things up in a couple of minutes. Jason, we appreciate your time this morning. I want to thank you for joining us on Taking Care of Business. When you look to the future, is something going to be coming up for you guys in the reclaiming of things? Is it going to be more than it was in the past? Are you optimistic about what's going to happen from here on out in regards to the recycling and the data destruction biz?
Well, people have been using their electronics a little bit differently these days, and so I think that's going to loosen up a little bit, and people are going to have that refresh cycle will kind of come back. In batteries are going to be a big issue, and we're going to start talking about that more and more in the years ahead. Batteries are becoming a huge issue in the recycling stream, and there's not a lot of ways to effectively recycle them.
Okay, batteries that we would maybe power a car with eventually, lithiums?
Absolutely, yep, lithium, yep.
Yeah, that's what I figured. All right, guys, I got to wrap things up. Rob, anything more from the Chamber of Commerce? Any upcoming events for you guys?
Well, I'll just mention one thing that Mike and Joan were talking about, the PPP. They can call us. We still have money that we're working with our friends at the Fox Cities Chamber and Go ADC in Winnebago County on this emergency loan program. Folks can still get very inexpensive money, up to $10,000 from us. And also we have our bar and restaurant loan program here at the Chamber. We can turn $2,500 around real quick if folks need help with rent and those sorts of things. So call us here or email me, rob@oshkoshchamber.com. Call us at 303-2266 for that.
I'm going to ask you about what's happening at the outlet mall. I don't think a lot of people realize this, but the overall people who own the outlet mall here in town are in bankruptcy right now. And that's maybe why we're seeing some of these exits going on in the outlet mall.
That is correct. That is correct. They are. That was the Horizon Group. And so now there's It's gone through bankruptcy. It's now, a major investment firm has kind of taken over the control of that mall. So that's going through some changes. It's been tough. It's tough times during the pandemic. So it's no longer the.
I think eventually us who wear double XL will be all set to go, because a lot of people, we got to find our stuff out here at the outlet mall. And, after everybody else casts it aside, it's fine for me. I mean, that fits and looks good on me. So there we go. But we lost a few, and I think eventually that will be coming back. And it'll come back bigger and better than it did before. I got that question a couple times over the weekend. What's going on with our outlet mall? They're in bankruptcy. People are going to get down to there. I have to run. I appreciate Jason. Thank you for joining us, Joan. Always great to see you and Mike there from Bank First, our sponsors. Rob Claimant, I'll see you either Thursday or sometime this week for a little basketball, I'm sure. Okay.
See you at the Knights game.
All right. Probably be doing that one on Thursday. I got to take a break. Got to wrap up the hour here. News Talk Radio 1490 WOSH.